We are on Roundhouse Radio 98.3. I am your host, Tammy-Lynn McNabb. We have our new show called Health Wellness Radio. And the show is about bringing to the listeners a chance to understand more about health and wellness from a consumer perspective. I have as my first guest, Preet Marwaha. He is committed to a healthy lifestyle. He's characterized by the consumption of fresh foods, which began for him at the age of 18 when Preet was struck with a life-threatening illness. After being handed a grim diagnosis and lethal cocktail of prescription drugs, Preet set out to heal himself. Whole organic food became the path back to wellness, and a year later, Preet shocked his doctor with a clean bill of health. Preet also found his purpose to create a paradigm shift in how people live, starting with food and the systems that produce it. Today, he is an in-demand nutrition and food authority locally and globally. As a result of his knowledge and consultations with global experts in the field of food, nutrition, physiology, autonomy, and molecular science, Preet was invited to speak at a United Nations International Conference in Bangkok in 2010. This part I love, Preet. You were honored with the chance to be the chef for the UN's VIP night. Welcome to the show, Preet.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I have met you so many times before, and every time I meet you, you're coming back from somewhere. Where did you get back from this time?
I was in India, Thailand, and Hong Kong.
Now, when you go to these countries, what are you doing, Preet?
Well, this one was fun because it was actually vacation.
Oh, that's hard to believe. You taking a vacation?
I know, I took a vacation. Hong Kong was a week of the Asian Financial Forum was going on there. So just meeting some of the up-and-coming folks in healthcare, biotech, just see what's going on in that space.
Now, your mission, Preet, let's go back to when you were 18. Life-threatening illness. You're not understating that. You were very, very sick.
Yeah, no, I spent a year and a half of my life out of the hospitals. Nearly died twice in a 10-day period in the hospital. And that was it. That was the wake-up call.
But what was wrong? What led up to you getting...
Well, they diagnosed me with everything from, honestly, AIDS to mental illness. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Oh. And they just kept one drug after another, after another, after another. It got to the point where I'm not sure if it was the drugs that was killing me or what I actually had that was killing me. So it was time for a change.
Yeah.
I was fortunate, had some good friends, was introduced to John Robbins. He played a big role in my turnaround.
Explain who John Robbins is.
So John Robbins at the time had written a book called Diet for New America.
Yep.
So anybody who's in this sort of health and wellness, vegetarian, vegan space, most everybody knows John Robbins. Mm-hmm. He's written a lot of books now. Just an amazing man, absolutely amazing man. I'm very proud to call him a very dear friend today and a man who helped save my life.
Mm. In what ways? What was he preaching that you drank the Kool-Aid and you believed it? What was he doing?
It was plant-based diet.
Yeah.
It is basically what he was pitching was go plant-based and you'll be amazed at things that happen to your body. And at that point I was so desperate I would have done anything.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to become a breatharian, I would have done that as well.
But talk about plant-based proteins back then. How many years ago was that?
So we're talking late 80s.
Yeah. I was three. I was 3 then. No, I wasn't. I wasn't, unfortunately.
So
it was a new concept
it was
then,
a brand new concept.
And still is now.
It's still in its infancy. That many years ago, I grew up in Calgary, redneck beef capital of the world. Mm-hmm. And try telling people you're a vegan there. Nobody even knew what that meant. And a lot has changed since then. And having gone around the world, I don't know how many times now, speaking in various countries all over the world, even China. China's making a massive shift in the way it's looking at food. The government is bringing down a mandate. They want a 50% reduction in meat consumption by 2030. 50%.
Significant.
That's significant. That's a big chunk of the world's meat consumption. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it for a variety of different reasons. They're driven by the health side of it because they see what's happening to their people. Mm-hmm. They see the epidemic of heart disease and diabetes, and they've been monitoring this ever since they adopted what we call sort of the North American diet and the influence.
You mean like fast food and that?
Fast food and just unhealthy. The consumption of meat and dairy has really gone through the roof there over the years. So they want to make a reverse on that. They want to promote more organic, sustainable agriculture again, because that's what China always was. Mm-hmm. It was all about the rural communities and the farming communities. So they're making a big push to go back there. And then there's the sustainability side. Mm-hmm. They have now recognized, I met there 2 years ago, the largest sort of hog producer over there. And they recognize that this is no longer sustainable. They're seeing the devastation on the land and the water systems in China.
Well, let's talk about sustainability. I mean, you had given me some stats that blew me away. So you said, fine, if you don't want to be a vegan or vegetarian, if you just didn't consume meat once a week or a couple times a month, the impact was so substantial. Talk a bit to that.
And it is. When we look at sort of meat, I'll just use beef as the example. It's what most people are consuming.
The most consumed, yeah.
For every kilogram of beef that we consume, it's taking down 55 square feet of the rainforest in South America. It requires roughly 2,500 gallons, up to 5,000 gallons per water, 200 liters of diesel fuel.
So if I'm not eating a whole cow, which I may have been known to do once, no, I'm just kidding. But one cow is how much?
Well, one cow is,
so we're talking, you said 1 kilogram.
1 kilogram.
Okay, so 1 kilogram.
1 kilogram, which is, if you think about it, if you cut out once a week, in a month, you're easily cutting out 1 kilogram.
Easily.
So just based on that, this is the impact that you can have.